This is Renelle, and welcome to Quality Hang with Rod Brooks and friends. And here he is now, your host, my main man, Rod Brooks.
Thank you very much, Renelle. I am Rod Brooks, and welcome everyone to Quality Hang. And as always, I'm joined on this broadcasting adventure by my friend, my partner in crime, the co-host of Quality Hang. He is Marcus Osborne. What up, dog?
What's happening? I've been trying to get this Quality Hang background on my TV for the last 30 minutes. So that's a problem. And what's funny is I've done this a million times, and I don't know why it won't come up.
Isn't it great when technology works, and isn't it as equally as frustrating?
Yes.
When it doesn't work.
Yes.
Like those two things could not be on the opposite, something working, something not working. It could not be more opposed to each other. Yet the feeling you get when something works or it doesn't work, it's basically the same intensity. It's just a different feeling.
Yeah, it's just annoying as shit, especially when you do stuff all the time and all of a sudden you do what you do.
But when it works, you feel like, man, this is what the Jetsons cartoon was all about. Like, this is the future that was promised to me. That's how you feel when technology works. When it doesn't, you just want to beat it with a hammer.
These are facts. It drives me absolutely insane. Like, why can't I do this? I've done this 10,000 times. Why can't I do this?
And why can't it happen right now? I think it's the immediacy of it. Is that you want that piece of technology to work the way it's supposed to, or the way it was promised to work. You want it to work immediately. There is no, I'll come back to it later. Like, no, it's not working now, and it just makes the rage just even that more intense, even that more white hot.
Yeah, the rage is multiplied by the fact that the shit always works when you don't want it to work. Sometimes I accidentally get stuff working. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. That didn't happen. Or it's as annoying as when you are laying on the couch and all of a sudden your TV starts changing channels and you realize you're sitting on a remote and it just pisses you off. Damn.
Sometimes life just be life. And now, before we get into the meat, the guts, if you will, of the show, we start our program, as we always do, by thanking our presenting sponsor, the fine folks at Hot Mug Taverns. 3 locations to choose from: Sonoma, Sebastopol, and in Novato. And at all 3 locations, they all do the same great things. Fantastic food, and I mean fantastic food, from a wildly diverse menu, a craft beer selection that is absolutely out of this world. And what they do best at all 3 Hot Mug locations is that the live music, live entertainment smorgasbord that they provide on a daily basis is absolutely out of this world. And the diversity of what you get at all 3 Hot Mug locations when it comes to live music, live entertainment is pretty awesome. You'll get touring acts from around the country. What I love it for is that you get local acts who will have a place to play where they can see and be seen, but they also have open mic night where maybe you feel like you got it like that. You want to go showcase it, you could do it at Hot Mug. If you want to go check out live comedy, or if you think you could do live comedy, I also have a comedy open night, country line dancing night, trivia nights, all sorts of stuff. To see what they have going on at Hot Mug, make sure you check them out online at hotmug.com, or better yet, follow them on all the socials. Even better, go see them in person in Sonoma, Sebastopol, and in Novato. You will not be disappointed. Let's start with the Warriors, shall we? Warriors engaging in a basketball contest of professional variety against the Los Angeles Clippers at Chase Center in downtown San Francisco, getting close to halftime. And the Warriors started strong and continued to be strong. 53-39, the Warriors are up with about 2:16 left to go in the first half. And this is the first game of the month of March, where they will be without Marcus, the services of Steph Curry. for at least mid-March, as the Warriors were without Steph's services in all of February dealing with that runner's knee. And so you see this game against the Clippers finishes a real quick stint at home before the Warriors head out on the road and start to see some intense competition in the face of the Rockets and the OKC Thunder. Again, right now, the Warriors handling their business, not turning the ball over, and have been up on the Clippers for the majority of this first half. But not having Steph Curry again for the for an undetermined amount of time, the best case scenario, it would be mid to late March. With the Warriors being locked, Marcus, into that play-in situation. They are right now the 7th seed, 2.5 games of the Clippers, who are sitting, of course, in 8th. Warriors being locked into that play-in situation where they're going to be either 7th seed or a 10th seed. Not having Steph in the mix, they're 4-5 in these last 10 games of Steph not being there. They handle the Clippers. They'll be 5-5. I think you take that with both hands. But as far as long-term strategy, not having Steph is problematic at best.
At best. I mean, you are putting it politely. This team, let me give these guys all the credit in the world, where most of Warrior quote-unquote fandom will not. This is not a good team. They are not loaded with talent. As much as y'all think that they are loaded with this championship talent, they are not. And Steph Curry and Jimmy Butler gives them a puncher's chance at anything. But this is not a talented team. And the fact that they've played so much without Steph Curry and without Jimmy Butler and with having a down year from Draymond Green and all the drama with Jonathan Kuminga, the fact that this team is anywhere near 500 at this stage of the year is a miracle and a testament, actually, I would say, to the coaching of one Steve Kerr and the leadership of probably Steph Curry and Jimmy Butler and Draymond Green. Like, these guys are still trying to win games.
I think anyone who believes that the Warriors have any real shots of, forget about winning a championship, even competing for a championship, playing in Western Conference Finals or an NBA Finals, I think that's a bit of fan-induced delusion. I will say this, and what I've been most impressed with is, with the exception of the Laker game on Saturday night, the contests that the Warriors have been involved in Steph's absence, and let me correct something I said. I said that they were 4-5 in their last 10. Obviously, that's mathematically impossible. They're 4-6 in their last 10. But the fact that they, with all the flaws the Warriors have, okay, they're not a particularly good shooting team. They don't have a lot of any offensive diversity. We will get into the Draymond conundrum. Clearly, health is an issue as we're talking about Steph, and who the hell knows what's up with Kristaps Porzingis. The very coyly stated general illness that he has. They don't even know if he's going to make the road trip. They don't know when he's coming back. So obviously, you can't count on him. But the fact that this Warrior team, with all of their flaws, with all of their issues, the fact that they do play hard, I think that kind of goes into the category of moral victories. People don't necessarily get all excited about that. But I do think that there is a ton of value in this flawed Warrior team playing hard without the services of Steph and not knowing when he's going to be back. And with the Warriors having the flawed roster that they have, with these guys playing hard, getting Steph back, because to me, I see value in getting to the playoffs, even if the Warriors don't have a legitimate chance to win it. I'm not a tank guy. It's just I'm just not a tank guy. So to me, there is value in getting into the playoffs and in seeing what you can do. For the Warriors to still be on track to achieve what I think is a worthy goal in that regard, without Butler, without Steph, not knowing exactly when he's coming back, without Porzingis and what we saw in one game that you could clearly see was a value to the Warriors. The fact that this team can still play hard without those pieces, I give those guys and the coaching staff a ton of credit for that.
Absolutely. They're going to come. They're going to play hard every night. It is the level setting done by the team's leadership. It's the
Yes.
level setting created by the culture of that team. You come there, you're playing hard, you're trying to win games. And I wouldn't ever want to have a culture where it was cool to lose games. I wouldn't even want to set that as a precedent or an example. It would. I don't know about you, Rod, but I've had these like sort of philosophical conversations with friends of mine multiple times over the years. And I've always been like, I always felt like I've been on the island where I'm going, no, I couldn't just sit on a team, even if I was making a bunch of money. I don't think it was losing every night, man. That would eat away at my soul to be losing every night, to be on a shitty team. I couldn't do it, man.
I don't know how you get to be an NBA player, whether you're on the bench or a guy getting minutes, definitely a superstar. I don't know how you get to that point in your career and you're okay with losing. You know what I mean? Yep. I just, to me, being okay with losing, I mean, understanding it's going to happen, understanding that that's just a part of the athletic equation, but being okay with losing, that's loser behavior. And so to get to the highest level of basketball that you could play on the planet and find a way to be okay with losing, that's a slippery slope.
You recognize that there are guys, there are some superstars. Like I know for a fact that James Harden doesn't like losing, but he's all right. Like it's not like he's all right. He literally kind of said so. I'm just trying to get my paper. I'm just trying to get my money. I get it. I want to make my money too, but man, losing sucks.
His play in big games will definitely not be one where you would think, nah, he's not okay with losing. Like, boy, some of them big playoff performances by James Harden, you go, he might not be okay with it, but boy, he sure seems to be somewhat comfortable in that situation. Warriors at the half, 56-42 over the Clippers. So the Warriors sitting on Marcus 31-29, 2.5 games of the Clippers. This road trip though coming up, and these 3 games, 2 of them really, with the Jazz in the midst of a serious tanking session. OKC and Houston back to back. Then you got to deal with Minnesota a little bit later on. But the rubbers are really going to meet the road when it comes to this East Coast road trip, starting on the 15th of this month. The Knicks, the Celtics, the Pistons, who are playing extraordinarily good basketball, and then the Warriors will see the Atlanta Hawks in a game that may or may not have some significance if you're paying attention to the Jonathan Kuminga situation. Kristaps Porzingis, he's out tonight, and this is now the 5th straight game that he will have missed with the Warriors. And as I mentioned, he is being described as having a general illness. There's a lot of rumor, a lot of speculation. You know, this is one of those situations where you don't want to make light of it because the severity of it, we don't know what it is. It could be minor. It could be major. Clearly, though, that this is something, Marcus, the Warriors, when it comes to Porzingis, the Warriors just simply don't have a grasp on, don't have a handle on it. But his situation is becoming more and more mysterious by the day, and not having him around. And again, not knowing, you know, with Steph, there's an idea that he's going to be back here at some point in time. If it's not in the middle of March, it'll be towards the end of March. If it's not the end of March, it'll be April, and he will be around for a stretch run and a play-in tournament run, and possibly a run in the NBA playoffs. But with Porzingis, Marcus, man, they just don't know. And they seem to have no idea what the hell is going on, which I think is shocking to a lot of people.
Yeah, it's a little bit scary, not just for the Warriors, but I imagine it's frightening for Porzingis. What is wrong?
That's why you don't want to make any jokes about it, because like this seems like something to where this young man has no idea what's happening with his body. None whatsoever.
I know I'd be freaking the hell out right now if I were him. So hopefully everything is okay. You know, this brings up another issue with me. Is I guess I'm not as hurt or bothered or upset about where the team is right now as other people might be. I mean, they were never really going to win. At least they weren't favorites to win, and rightfully so. I had high hopes that they would be a better team, be actually more of the team we saw at the end of last year when Jimmy Butler got there.
Yeah,
and they're not. And you know what? That's okay. Dynasties fall hard, but they do fall. and you sometimes you just gotta accept this is I guess this is my beef with Warrior fan. You gotta accept that everything has to end. Like they're turning into Cowboy fans, and it's really bugging me. Like you're not entitled to a championship every year. You're not even entitled to be a contender every year. What goes up must come down. And some of you knuckleheads have forgotten 15 years ago to even be in a sentence of being in a play-in game, we would have been standing up applauding.
Yeah, well, there are a good amount of Warrior fans. I shouldn't say a good amount. There are some Warrior fans. The amount is unknown, but it's more than a couple who don't remember the bad old days. All they know is Steph. And with Steph has come great Warrior success. Definitely a more entertaining brand of basketball that eventually led to the greatest success that this franchise has ever seen, and one of the greatest success stories, I believe, in the history of American professional sports. And I feel like I've mentioned this before, that for a lot of these, and this is not a value judgment, but for a lot of these newish Warrior fans, they're more Steph fans than Warrior fans. Amen. And their main gripe, which I understand, I think it gets a little bit out of hand. The talk, the rhetoric, the name calling, and, just the general bitchiness about the situation. Yeah. I get that the Warrior fans who are more Steph centric are upset that the Warriors have not maximized Steph's as he's closer to the end of his career than the beginning. They haven't maximized these last few years of Steph's career and how well that he's played. And I get that. I think that's a legitimate conversation to be had and a legitimate discussion. But I think it gets out of pocket when people start to talk about Steve Kerr sabotaging Steph and by extension sabotaging the Warriors' chances, or Joe Lacob being a cheap skinflint, which clearly he's not. Now, is Joe Lacob, guilty of meddling? I think there is some serious evidence to prove that to be the case, and that's a legitimate argument, for lack of a better way of putting it, to have. But to characterize the debate as there are people within the Warrior organization or people who are responsible for coaching Steph Curry or even playing with Steph Curry who have an active hand in trying to sabotage the later end of his career, I just find that to be stupid.
Of course it is. Like, you really think that the guys who have built this thing into a worldwide brand, which we never were, one of the most valuable sports franchises in the world, you think they'd be out here trying to sabotage that? You think they don't want to win more championships while they have a guy like Steph Curry? It's insane talk.
It's crazy to me, but this is just kind of where we are in the discussion, and maybe where we are just in general and how we discuss things in sports and life and politics or what have you. That there are more people who are willing to believe. I shouldn't say more because I don't know the number, but there are enough people who are willing to believe that there's skullduggery at hand. There's something shady and shisty at hand, instead of kind of looking at the obvious, which is there's hubris involved. There's a certain amount of incompetence involved. Maybe I shouldn't use the word incompetence, but clearly there were decisions made that you could look at and go, that wasn't the smartest decision to make, especially now that we have hindsight available. And I'm talking specifically about the draft picks, the 3 draft picks. But to me, those are more obvious and tangible situations that people just got it wrong. Or there were people who made decisions, like I said, that weren't necessarily, that were based off of hubris. Then people saying, you know what, Steph's getting too much credit. I need to get some credit. So I'm going to actively sabotage Steph so I can try to find a way to get credit. I can't roll with it.
I don't think people really it kind of shows that you don't really understand what it takes. We're not talking about a team that just happened to win a title one year and it was just a good team for the rest of the years, like Milwaukee or even Denver. These dudes finals 4 or 5 straight times.
Yeah. 6
appearances, 4 wins. Like that doesn't happen anymore. Not in the days of parity. And the idea that like when you get these draft picks drafting from where they've had to draft the last 15 years and still be in a place where you're still even moderately relevant, and you miss on Wiseman, who turned out to be not very good, and you missed out on JK primarily because he didn't want to play the brand of basketball that you wanted him to play.
But, careful now. See, now there are people who would say that if that wasn't the case, it was Steve Kerr actively not liking Jonathan Kuminga and then putting him on the bench to rot. So.
Yeah, that part too. Yeah, that was it too. It's just weird. Like they haven't had great draft spots. They haven't even had great opportunity to get big time free agents unless they've made a trade for them. So you're talking about a team that's managed to win titles, stay relevant, still be a dominant force on TV when it comes to ratings. They're doing all this stuff, and they're not even very good. They're not even very good. Like people, they're going to have to lose. They're going to have to be garbage for a couple of years. That's just a fact. And I'm saying to Warrior fans, if we really want to go Bill Walsh on this thing, next year everybody's contract is up. And everybody goes.
Well, I mean, they have a Draymond decision that is looming larger and larger and larger every single time he steps on the court, because just these last few games, watching how teams defend him, they don't defend him. And this has been happening for a while, but it seems to be more acute here. This season, where the Warriors are out there playing 4-on-5, and how problematic that is. Draymond has almost a $28 million, I believe, player option next year that he'd be crazy not to pick up because it's $28 million. But if he does pick it up, the Warriors are probably, if they're not already thinking about it, going to look to trade him. So they have some definite big decisions, and I think Draymond is the biggest. This Porzingis thing is, to me, that smells like an expiring contract. Huh?
It expires this year, right?
Yeah. He's an unrestricted free agent. I mean, this smells like an expiring contract because just with the uncertainty with his health. So, but there are people, and I understand this point of view. There are going to be people who are Warrior fans or just Steph-centric Warrior fans who are saying, I don't necessarily trust this front office to do a rebuild strong enough and quickly enough to take advantage of the last couple 3 years you have with Steph. And I think because of how they've not necessarily hit on those draft picks, those 3 draft picks. And, this season, with the Kuminga situation and then the trade for Porzingis, which I was in favor of it. I'm still in favor of it until it's proven that he simply cannot play because he brings something that the Warriors don't have with his size and his ability to move and his ability to put the ball on the floor. But then I do agree with Warrior fans that not having full faith in this organization's ability to bottom out and then quickly or somewhat quickly rebound, I don't necessarily have faith in that because of certain missteps they've made over the last few years.
I think that you have to be in a position to do it. I wouldn't want to pass judgment just yet because
Fair enough.
As I keep saying, what would people have this team do? They don't have salary cap space to make all these big moves, and any big name they're going to bring in, they have to dump some of their quote unquote depth. Like the idea of bringing in Giannis, that's cute, but you're still going to be mid at best because all the stuff you got to give up to get him. Like the only way that this is ever going to turn around is doing exactly what you said: bottom out, rebuild. Period. Point blank. Listen, keeping Steph Curry. I know this is sacrilegious to say, but keeping Steph is also a little handicapping. That dude's contract is not small. Jimmy Butler's contract is not small. So that's two dudes, and then you count Draymond. It's three guys, and I don't know what Horford's getting paid, but you've got three big old dudes on your team, and you don't have the salary cap room to really do anything, to put anything around. Yeah. Like, unless you need a couple of $15 to $20 million players on this team, they've got to make up your rotation, and you don't have that at all.
Nope.
It's insane.
But what you do have now is that you do have a collection of players without Steph who have, again, shown enough fight, have shown enough basketball ability and acumen to where you go, if you adjust your expectations, and I do think for the Steph-centric Warrior fans, they have a hard time adjusting their expectations. But if you are able and willing to adjust your expectations, what we've seen over this past month and what we're seeing tonight, Warriors at 58-42, they just started the second half against the Clippers. With what we've seen here lately, while it's not pretty by any stretch of the imagination, and there can be nights and there will be nights like the Warriors had on Saturday where they just got Peter rolled by the Lakers.
Yep.
But you do have a collection of players on this Warriors squad that I think with Steph coming back, and even if you don't have Porzingis available, I think there's enough fight in this team, and there's enough and the way that they're playing basketball, I think that's enough for them to stay in the play-in.
Yep. And
get to the playoffs. And you get to the playoffs, matchup depending. If they see the Spurs in the first round, I'm assuming that they're a 7 seed, the Spurs say a 2 seed, that's going to be a problem. But I tell you what, man, I'd rather them go to the first round in this somewhat hypothetical situation, go into the first round against the Spurs. And, hey, man, you get, the old gentleman sweep, you lose in 5. I don't think there's any shame in that. Hey, you take them to 6. That's impressive. Even if you get swept out of the building, in 4, in the traditional sense. Hey, man, you lose Jimmy Butler. Draymond is declining. You've had an up and down year with Brandon Podziemski. You're getting something good out of Will Richards. You're getting something good out of Moses Moody as of lately. Guy Santos obviously has been one of, if not the biggest story of the year in terms of these young guys coming along. I think there is some value in those guys. And like I said, this hypothetical situation I'm putting forth to where if you can make this a squad that gets in the play-in and gets into the playoffs, to me, that's successful. However, there is a lot of work to do to flesh out this roster for next year because you're not going to be afforded the same opportunities.
Exactly. Like you might as well, if people weren't as delusional as they are, they would all have the same perspective as you have and that I have. Like, look at what you have on this team and then understand that this is not a team that can go very far. You have overestimated and you are delusional to believe that this team can compete for a title right now.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, honestly, I like Moses Moody. I think he's a good dude. I think he comes out, he busts his ass and tries hard. But we got to be honest about what we have. These guys are not consistent enough to be really high-end rotational players from my perspective. They're just not. Guy Santos has been pretty consistent for the last month, but that's abnormal for this team. Moses Moody, kind of consistent. He's better. He's gotten better every year, but he's still up and down.
There's still flaws for sure.
You cannot win in this league if your bench is not consistent. And this is the problem with this team has never really been the actual talent. It's been the consistency. And this is what this coaching staff has had to deal with. Nobody is consistent. So you can't play the way you want to play, which is being able to shoot if nobody can consistently make actual shots.
Right, with the exception of one guy. I will say this in the defense of the Warriors front office. They got two things right this year. DeAnthony Melton, I know it's not this year. They had him on the roster as he was rehabbing from tearing an ACL. DeAnthony Melton is this guy. Make sure you do what you can to keep him. And Al Horford. Once you got to this part in the season where you can play him more, I saw somebody say on social media that his knees thaw out Al Horford after the All-Star break. That's just the way it's been for him. But Al Horford, even though again he's part of the unction, he's an older guy. Al Horford on your team, you're a better team with him than you are without him. The problem becomes is that you can't play him a lot, which is the big problem with Draymond getting older and obviously not being able to play the five consistently, and that being a problem for him, and also not having Porzingis, who you would hope. The thought was that he would ease the burden of Draymond having to play the five, and he would be somebody. Even though he and Horford don't necessarily play the exact same position, he would be another big you could have and not have to rely on Al Horford too much. But what you've had to use Al Horford for, I think it's been a net positive all the way around.
Yeah, I honestly, this is a time to use what time is left in the season. Yes, you want to continue to win games if you can, but also I think you need to be finding your 6, 7, 8, 9 guys right now. Now's the time to do it. 6, 7, 8, 9. Who is that going to be? Your starters you have to worry about next year. The starters are not doing it. They're just not good enough. And even when Steph and Jimmy come back, still going to probably have some issues because those guys aren't going to be able to play, and they're not going to play a full season, either of them. Yeah. So, but at the very least, find your 6, 7, 8, 9 guys.
The Draymond question is the big question. That's just what it's going to boil down to. Hey, and as I mentioned his name, he hits a three. Warriors up 63-50. So I think if I'm reading his lips, he just said F Rod Brooks as he was jogging back down the court. Or maybe I'm not as good at lip reading as I thought I was. I don't know. Maybe he didn't.
Yeah, I don't think that Joe Lacob is going to let Draymond Green trade. I just think
you're going to pay him $30 million.
Do you think would you be surprised if he does? I would. I think they're going to end up keeping Draymond for his last year and let Steph play his last year out and let Jimmy Butler play his last year out and then let Steve Kerr do his thing and then that's it.
Boy,
that's it.
That's a lot of money for a declining asset. It's
lot all of them are declining. If you watch
I know, but let's keep it a buck. Obviously, Steph is still valuable. Obviously, Jimmy Butler, and I think coming back off the ACL, I think you're going to get the same consistent play out of Jimmy Butler that you got pre-injury with Draymond. Like I said, man, just watching him, they don't even bother guarding him.
They don't.
And I will say this in Draymond's defense tonight and the game against the Lakers. And I think the game previous to that, not turning the ball over a ton. That's where it gets really goofy with Draymond, is that when you're getting nothing out of him offensively, when the ball is sticking with him and other guys are not getting involved. You see how, it's still not necessarily pretty, not aesthetically pleasing, but the Warriors offensively, it's a lot less, concrete in a washing machine when Draymond is not out there. And that's just not opinion. That's just Stevie Wonder. Can see that, and then you have when he's turning the ball over and not giving you anything offensively, and the ball is kind of sticking with him and hampering other guys' ability to do what they need to do offensively. I don't know if I want to pay $28 million for that.
These are things they're going to have to make their minds about. I just don't see it happen. If I was really being honest, I would start questioning paying Steph Curry $60-some million too.
Well.
paying Jimmy Butler, what is he getting, 50-something million?
No, but I mean, them dudes ain't gonna get that money. I know you're not advocating for it, but them
Yeah,
dudes ain't gonna get that money back.
But that's kind of what I'm saying is like, what's the point of what are you gonna do with Draymond? Trade him and get what? Like, what are you getting for him? Like, you're not gonna get anything for him. So you may as well just ride this shit out, let everybody's contract expire. Maybe you have a down year, maybe you don't. But I mean, the way the league is set up now with the salary cap and the second apron and all that stuff, there are some things that they were able to do before the most recent CBA that they can't do anymore. Yep. And as long as they have those big ass contracts, there's not a whole hell of a lot of wiggle room for them to do things, because the only way they can get better is through trade, is through the draft, or free agent, and they're not in a good place to do any of that, Rod.
Nope, they are not. They are not. Moving on, we just finished Black History Month, and now we are in the month of March, and the month of March is Women's Empowerment, or
love it.
Women's History Month, right? Yes, like, of course, yes. Who wouldn't love Women's Empowerment / Women's History Month? I mentioned that because it's a fact, but also I mentioned that because the Atlanta Hawks are having a theme night a little bit later on here in the month of March, Women's Empowerment Month. The Atlanta Hawks are having a Magic City Monday on March 16th. And if you are unfamiliar with Atlanta, and if you are unfamiliar with Atlanta's Magic City, and Magic City is not a place, it's not like where magicians go to pick up magician supplies. Like, it's not a place in Atlanta where magicians go to pick up rabbits, or to pick up the box that you would put your assistant in to saw her in half. No. Magic City, if you don't know, is a strip club, is a shake house, is what it is. And Magic City is one of, I would dare say, Marcus, the most popular or known strip club in the United States. Would it be fair to say that?
Oh, I would think so. I mean,
Magic City is an Atlanta institution. And so the Hawks, who really don't have anything going for them, even with Jonathan Kuminga averaging 20-plus points a game. By the way, we just had a discussion about the Warriors where Jonathan Kuminga's name was only mentioned once. Was that on purpose? Yes, it was absolutely on purpose.
He's not on the team anymore, so he doesn't really matter.
Exactly. Like,
I'm gonna be honest about it.
Good for him, not my issue. I don't even feel like talking about it. But the Hawks have decided to celebrate the institution that is Magic City by having a Magic City themed night. To be fair to the Hawks, they're not going to have strippers out there, during timeouts, working the pole. They will celebrate Magic City by serving some of its famous lemon pepper wings. And T.I., who is currently engaging in and winning a rap beef between he and 50 Cent. T.I. will take time from that beef with 50 Cent to do a halftime performance on Magic City night during Women's History Month.
Sweet.
Tone deaf or on the nose, Marcus?
I mean, if I'm being honest, based on the position that Magic City holds in terms of Atlanta nightlife, and it's essentially a historic landmark. You have Dr. King's church that he preached at in Magic City. Yes, they're right next to each other. Not physically. That's very Atlanta, by the way. That is very Atlanta. Strip club, church. Very Atlanta.
You have Dr. King's church. You have the drugstore where they invented Coca-Cola in Magic City. All three of those locations hold the same amount of sway in Atlanta.
But let me just say this about Magic City, because for the audience that is paying attention to us right now and isn't familiar with Magic City, yes, it is a strip club, but as you have said, Rod, it's so much more than that. At one point, Magic City was the centerpiece place where new hip hop was broken.
Yes. Yeah.
You could not
Yes.
get anything done unless your song played in Magic City. This is a
Yes.
fact, y'all.
Yes.
And I don't think y'all understand. Atlanta became the sort of hub of hip hop for many years, primarily because of that thing with Magic City. It blew people up.
Changed the face of hip hop for better or for worse. That is an excellent point, Marcus. And I think it's something that hip hop is kind of in a position where it doesn't know what to do. Hip hop would break on the radio. First, it was word of mouth because hip hop wasn't played on the radio. Then it was played on the radio / MTV. MTV fell away, but you still had the radio. But in Atlanta, it changed from songs breaking on the radio to if a song could be played in a strip club, Magic City, or one of the dozens that they have in Atlanta, did the song hit in the strip club? Was it a song that the dancers, the strippers, would want to earn money? It was the soundtrack to them earning money. That's how you got Migos and Future and 21 Savage and all those guys.
Blow the whistle.
Exactly. All of that stuff. So Atlanta, for a good 15 years, like they controlled, for lack of a better way of putting it, controlled hip hop by, if it was hot in the strip clubs in Atlanta, particularly Magic City, then it became hot nationwide. It supplanted radio as how hip hop would break out and then be disseminated throughout the country. It's not as much of that anymore, and I think that's why hip hop is sort of in this weird nebulous place to where hip hop is still popular, but it's not as dominant on the charts. Hip hop radio is not what it used to be, in terms of its hold on, and its importance in the culture, in hip hop culture. So I think hip hop is trying to find that sort of that new proving ground and that new mechanism that breaks songs, whether it's songs by established artists or songs by new artists, and kind of what is hot and what is not, in terms of hip hop.
But I mean, this is, for like you said, for better or worse, is what would propel new hip hop artists. I mean, those DJs were making so much money because people were paying them so much money to play my record at the club. Now, what I think is happening,
it was legal payola.
Oh, absolutely.
was what it was, because you didn't have to worry about paying a DJ like an actual radio DJ. You could pay the strip club DJ, and that was all legal.
I think that what's happening is, and I think this is important that it happens, is the way hip hop became such a powerhouse was that it started in the streets. It started bubbling on the corners and house parties and out of people's trunks and all that stuff. It's kind of getting back to that. It's almost a reboot. It's just starting from the ground, rebuilding and sort of restarting what it came from that. We love the fact that it grew into something that mainstream America started to appreciate, but it's got to the point where it's too big, and it helps. Sometimes you got to get knocked on the ground and rebuild. And I think there's a lot of nice little. I mean, La Russell is a perfect example of a dude who's been underground for most of these years, for like 10 years, and all of a sudden he's bubbling up. You get more of that kind of stuff, which is the way original hip hop was. You bubbled up for years, and people knew about you, and then suddenly you were on the radio, and you were everywhere else because there was a gatekeeping and improving ground.
Right. Well, it's different now, man. People expect fame, they expect stardom, they expect notoriety, they expect that buzz, and they expect it almost instantly. Definitely quicker than you used to get it, via the machine that you just detailed.
I have to ask you something. I'm sorry, I mean to cut you off, but I have to ask you something because it's the end of Black History Month, and I meant to send you. Have you heard about these dudes, Paradox?
Oh yes, I have. Yeah,
The
like
first
a black power punk
alternative group. Yeah,
alternative
first
group.
black
Yeah,
first number one charting alternative group that's black.
yeah,
I hadn't heard of these dudes. I didn't know anything about them, and I saw this headline. Like, oh, I need to go and check these cats out. And I was
yeah.
wondering,
I heard a little bit of what they were doing. I love it. I love it. You
are they
know, I
good?
love it. Yeah, oh, yeah.
I'm gonna check them out.
They're good. They're
Check
good.
'em out.
I love it when you have young black cats getting into non-traditional spaces, so to speak.
Yeah.
You know, it still freaks some people out, and I like that.
We
like
started this. Let's not forget.
Yeah, exactly, Gene Simmons. Oh, you know what? That's a great segue. Last week, the 2026 nominees for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame came out, and there's a lot of names on this list that make Gene Simmons mad. Black Crowes, Jeff Buckley, Mariah Carey. I'm sure Mariah Carey's inclusion on this list just sent Gene Simmons into an existential crisis. Phil Collins as a solo act. Phil Collins is in there with Genesis. Melissa Etheridge, Lauryn Hill, Billy Idol, INXS, Iron Maiden. I'm not even a big Iron Maiden fan. But Iron Maiden.
I appreciate him.
Yeah, exactly. Iron Maiden not already being in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is ridiculous.
It's weird.
It's weird. Joy Division, New Order. That's another one. Not being in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. New Edition.
Are you good with Joy Division?
I can appreciate them. I wouldn't call myself a fan, but I see why people love them. Absolutely.
Yeah.
New Edition. Would love to see all those guys get in, before they're as a whole, as a group, no longer with us. Oasis, I think, is a shoe-in.
That's funny because I wouldn't put Oasis in. I'm just that guy. I wouldn't.
I'm not an Oasis fan.
And I'm not even saying that. I'm not even saying that they have like shitty. They have a couple of cool songs, but I'm like, I have
you and I are in complete and total agreement. I think they're just a derivative of the Beatles, and they didn't even try to hide it, quite frankly. But I don't think and I'm not saying you, but I don't think you can deny. Forget about them just getting back together and going on this money grab tour, which I don't have a problem with. That's knock yourself out. But you cannot deny the impact that Oasis has had globally in not necessarily a fairly short amount of time, but it's not like Oasis, went and put out 15 albums. I think they've only got maybe 5 albums. I could be wrong on that, but it's not their output is not all that great. But the output that they had, I mean, like I said, I'm not necessarily a fan, but fuck, it was massive. Still is massive.
Yeah, that's kind of what I feel about. I'm like, they weren't really my cup of tea overall. And a couple of cool songs, but you saw what they did. And you're like, okay, these motherfuckers, I mean, people love them. So I see why they would be included. But if you put like Creed something up there, we're gonna be fighting.
I lost you for a second. If you put a who?
Creed.
Oh, Creed. Yeah, that's worth marching to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in Cleveland with
hey, Rod, you know what?
pitchforks and torches.
Listen, I laugh at them now, but I also respect the fact that Creed was monstrous for a couple of years. When I was at Alice, this was I was doing the Alice Morning Show. This is 2002, so it was Serenade, and we had a concert. It was Creed on Alcatraz. Was it Alcatraz? It was a concert. It was just a concert with Creed on. Or was it Treasure Island? Whatever. We had them. The whole promotion was Creed on Alcatraz, and we had the whole thing curtained off, and it was just Creed, and people were losing their shit to go see these dudes.
But please tell me You see, and I think this is why people didn't like Creed, because sometimes you can be too on the nose. Don't tell me that they earnestly sang or earnestly played Scott Stapp, I'm sure, earnestly sang My Own Prison while they were doing a show on Alcatraz. Please tell me that didn't happen.
Of course it happened.
It happened, yeah.
What are you saying? You know that it happened. And then, of course, Scott turned out to be a friggin' weirdo. Like Billy Corgan, like Smashing Pumpkins. These bands, some of these dudes just turn out to be such weirdos.
Oh, but see, I think they were already weirdos. They just happened to be talented weirdos that only exacerbated how weird they are. You know what I mean? It just intensified the weirdness. And like if they didn't have the ability to make that music that clearly connected with people, or if they didn't have the ability to sing or play an instrument, they would just be the weirdo you work with. But because they can do something that will get attention, it amplifies their weirdness that was already a part of their DNA, just a part of their get down.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, I think what you're getting at here is so many people have issues with the people who are nominated and who get into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, because there's a lot of, as Gene Simmons like to say, there's Sade's not rock, hip hop is not rock. Man, all this shit is rock and roll, dude.
Rock and roll Sade, term. Shakira, Luther Vandross, Wu-Tang Clan. My simple fix to that, if there is a fix that's needed, just name it the American Popular Music Hall of Fame and call it a day. And in that way, it instantly shuts up old idiots like Gene Simmons. And I think it makes it easier for Luther Vandross to be accepted into an institution that is about supposedly highlighting people who are really, really good at their craft. In this case, the craft of music, popular music. And then we don't have to have those discussions, because there should be a place, if we're just going to go headlong into this Hall of Fame thing, there should be a place where people who maybe didn't grow up with Luther Vandross's music, to use him as an example, as we did, or people who didn't know about Luther Vandross because they weren't around when he was alive and still making music, to where they can go and learn about him. To be able to have that institution there, and it not be there not be some sort of silly gatekeeping of, well, Luther Vandross, again, to use him as an example on this list, is not rock and roll because he didn't play loud music and it wasn't 4 chords and all that kind of stuff.
Didn't have guitars in her
song. Exactly. Mariah Carey, we keep going on down the list. Just the fact that there should be a place where those very talented people are deified, for lack of a better way of putting it, without there being some sort of silly gatekeeping, as I mentioned, of, well, they're not rock and roll. That is dumb.
I mean, there weren't guitars in rock and roll for a while, and it wasn't the quote unquote rock guitar that people think of now. I mean, rock and roll was the Beach Boys for a number of years. I mean, this is such a silly thing. As Chuck D said, there's rock, and then everything else is the roll. I go every time.
Looking at this list, I think Oasis is a shoe-in. I think because if you go back and you look over the last few years of the inductees, there will be one or two traditional rock acts. Then there will be an older female who will get in, a youngish type of female who will get in, one hip hop act that will get in, whether it's a group or a singular rapper. And then you will have sort of like an old school legacy band that many people like, they're not in, they will eventually get in. So just sort of using that criteria, I think Oasis is an absolute shoe-in. I think Wu-Tang Clan gets in. I think Phil Collins gets in.
Definitely.
I wouldn't be surprised if either Mariah Carey or Melissa Etheridge gets in. And I think either Iron Maiden or NXS or Joy Division / New Order. I think one of those three.
The number of new Hall of Fame inductees?
It's not a set number, but it's between like 6 and 8.
So you have to hit a threshold in order to get in.
No, I don't think it's a threshold, but I think what they figured out is, as I mentioned, you have sort of an old school legacy act that should have been in there, and they'll eventually put in a hip hop act, an older female singer, comparatively speaking, younger female singer. So they just kind of have like these certain criteria that they will put acts in, and then those will be the nominees. So that's just my guess, my somewhat educated yet uneducated guess. So there you go.
I wouldn't be shocked at any of these folks being in. You know what? New Edition should be a shoo-in.
Yeah, but let's keep it a buck, dog.
Isn't New Kids on the Block in there?
I think you might be right. I don't know. I have to look it up. Let's keep it a buck. It's either going to be New Edition or the Wu-Tang Clan. It ain't going to be New Edition and the Wu-Tang Clan. All right. And I don't think I'm saying anything out of pocket here, but you know exactly what the hell I'm talking about.
Yes, indeed. Well, that's tough because the influence of the Wu-Tang Clan is insane, but the
influence of New Edition.
I was just about to say, it's like both of them have the same issue, like right? They have all the options. It's all the spin-off groups.
Yeah,
it's all the spin-off stuff. There is the Sun that is New Edition, and then the planets of Bobby Brown and Ralph Tresvant and Belle Biv DeVoe.
Yeah, exactly. How about we do some on this date? How are we feeling about that? On this date? Sure. Let's do some on this date. On this date, March the 2nd, 1955, 9 months before Rosa Parks was arrested for not giving up her seat on a segregated bus. 15-year-old Claudette Colvin was arrested in Montgomery, Alabama for refusing to give up her seat on a public bus. As I mentioned, this happened almost a year before Rosa Parks was arrested for doing the same thing. But as you see here, if you're watching us here, the NAACP did not want Claudette Colvin, who was 15 and pregnant at the time, did not want her to represent the organization. So no disrespect, obviously, to the ancestor, the great Rosa Parks. She wasn't the first. It was the brave action of a 15-year-old girl who was the first to be arrested for not giving up her seat on a segregated bus. And that was Claudette Colvin, who did that on this date in 1955.
Shout out to Claudette Colvin.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. 1955 was not that long ago.
Not at all.
It's just want to point that out. 1955 was not that long ago. On this date in 1962, Wilt Chamberlain scored 100 points. This is one of my pet peeves, and it bugs me when people flippantly say, well, this never happened. Because clearly it happened. All right. You see the numbers. All right. Wilt played all 48 minutes, had 25 rebounds, 32. A terrible free throw shooter. He was 28 of 32 from the line. And
that's what put him over the 100.
He took 63 shots.
Yeah, dude. I mean, why am I feeding him? Nobody can stop him. Nobody stop him.
63 shots. People say this didn't happen because there's no footage of it. It bugs me because the stupidity of the statement obviously is is one that is rage-inducing. But here's why this bugs me in particular. People say it didn't happen. I had the pleasure of getting to know the great Al Attles, who died. Was it last year? We lost Al not too long ago.
Year,
but
2 years ago.
Warriors great Al Attles, Basketball Hall of Famer Al Attles, and just the nicest person you've ever run across. Just a sweetheart of a man. And getting to know Al Attles, you learn to love Al Attles. So when people say that Will Chamberlain didn't score 100 points, you're calling Al Attles a liar.
Rick Barry loved Al Attles.
Exactly, right? Exactly.
So that means something. That means something.
And why is calling Al Attles a liar a part of this thing if you don't think that Will Chamberlain scored 100 points? Because Al Attles was the then Philadelphia Warriors' second leading scorer that night. Will Chamberlain had 100. Al Attles had 18 points on 8 of 8 shooting from the field. So when you say, well, it didn't happen, and this is all some conspiracy, you're calling Al Attles a liar. You call Al Attles a liar, I got a problem with that. And on this date, March 2nd, 1962, Will Chamberlain scored 100 points in an NBA game. And the great Al Attles scored 18 points on this date, March 2nd, 1962.
What was the final score of that game? 140 or something.
Well, I know it's definitely they had 118 plus. I'll have to go with 169, 147. That's
it had to be up there. 169 points.
Yeah. By the way, without a 3-point line.
Wow. Wow.
So there you go. Will Chamberlain and Al Attles combined to score 118 points on 118 points on this date, March 2nd, 1962. On this date in 1983, Sony introduced to North America the first compact disc player. And CDs were also introduced on this date, March 2nd, 1983, in North America as well. We've gone now from CDs being introduced and CD players being introduced and mass marketed and mass purchased by the American public to, when's the last time you've seen a CD player in the wild?
Bruh, I mean, I got a record player over here that has a CD player on it. I feel like there's going to be cobwebs and spiders and stuff. It's just, ain't nobody use no CD players.
That's how quickly
vinyl.
That's how quickly, though, technology has changed. And I know, 1983 was a good amount of time ago, but we went from records, to cassettes. Well, records to 8-tracks, to cassettes, and then CDs, and that just changed the entire game. And now, I can't even tell you where my CDs are. I still have them by the hundreds. I couldn't even tell you where my CDs are. And I couldn't even tell you where the CD player is to play those CDs.
I can't tell you the last time I paid for new music.
To own a physical.
I can't tell you the last time I bought a CD. I can't tell you.
I mean, for me, it's got to be at least 10 years. I wouldn't know. I mean, shout out to our guy, Paulie Mac. Shout out to the PNP Army. Shout out to Paulie Mac's Particles. Our brother here in the Bay Area Sports Collective, Tony as well. He's got, Paulie, an incredible vinyl collection. He's got the whole setup. He's got the turntable. He's got the speakers. He's got the whole shebang-a-bang. But that's an insane level of music collection that only a few people are into. It's just physically purchasing music. You have to have a turntable. You have to want to go and get vinyl and then the ability to play vinyl. I don't even know if you can go and buy. Where can you even go and buy a CD? You used to be able to go to Target or Best Buy or an actual music store. What's a music store? Ask your grandparents. You used to be able to go to those places, or you used to be able to pull. And I think I did what most people did. You got your CD collection started by getting those 11 CDs for a penny from Columbia House. That's how I got my CD collection started, and I'm pretty sure I'm not alone.
Paying that $7.99 for the rest of them CDs.
Man, let me tell you something. Every semester in college, I had a new address. That's when I got me 11 more of them bad boy CDs. But I don't even know where you would go to purchase a CD, let alone don't blow into cobwebs and the dust off the CD player to actually play it.
It's so weird. Yeah, I can't tell you the last time I bought a CD. I'm actually in the midst of recollecting some vinyl. And vinyl is fairly inexpensive when you go to a used vinyl store, and you can find gems there. I love finding 45s. But other than that, yeah, you won't see your boy. I'm not buying no new albums or no new CDs at all.
Which is exactly the way Apple and Spotify and Amazon, exactly the way that they want it. They do not want us owning music anymore. But there was a time where we did own music, and we were proud of it. On this date, Sony introduced the CD player to North America. On this date in 1984, the cinematic classic This Is Spinal Tap debuted in theaters. One about the genius tragedy with he and his wife, unfortunately, being murdered a few weeks ago. But yeah, man, it's one of my favorite movies and still holds up to this day.
Yep, it's classic, baby.
Still funny as shit, brother. Yeah,
and I didn't get to see the sequel, but folks told me that it was good. I said it was really good.
I forgot that they did a new one. That's right.
Last year, 2 years ago.
I have to check that out. It was very recently. Yeah, very recently. Completely forgot about that. Yeah. Tiny Stonehenge. It's never not going to be funny. I know everybody likes, these speakers go up to 11, and that's classic. That's never going to go out of style. But for me, when they bring out that Tiny Stonehenge, when they bring out Mini Stonehenge and they put it on stage and they're dancing around it as they're standing there looking at the Tiny Stonehenge, I mean, it just, I don't know if you can find any funnier than that. So This Is Spinal Tap debuted in theaters on this date back in 1984. Last on this date in 2014, Bryce Harper signed a 13-year, in excess of $300 million contract with the Philadelphia Phillies.
That's right.
Now, some of you Giants fans in particular are like, well, why would Rod bring that up? Well, I'm bringing it up because it happened on this date. And I'm also bringing it up because of this piece of video from earlier today. Bryce Harper went on the Shouty Punter show that airs every morning on ESPN, and Bryce Harper was sort of asked in a roundabout way.
Let's not skip over that. I don't
like giving that dude no
show is hilarious.
I don't like giving that dude no shine, and I'm not gonna say anything, but yeah,
the Shouty Punter show, dude.
Yeah, I mean, he's a punter and he does a lot of shouting, and he's on television. Everything I said is factual.
That's the hip hop now. That's the new
MC. Anyway, Bryce Harper was asked about his flirtation with the Giants, and he dropped a bit of information, Bryce Harper did, that I was unaware of, and it's a bit of information that I'm sure when Giants fans, if they saw this in real time, they immediately found the nearest bottle of liquor and started drinking. Listen to what Bryce Harper said.
Good chirps that those guys are saying over there, do you think? They're saying like... They
probably are thinking, man, he could have been here with the Giants, but he's not.
Oh, was that a thought?
Yeah, it was.
Okay, so Phillies or Giants?
Yeah.
Anybody else in play?
It was like San Diego and a couple other teams, but it came down to Phillies Giants.
Giants are like a very respected organization.
Oh, 100%.
Judge
yeah,
too,
no
right?
doubt.
Yeah, Judge was close too,
Arson Judge.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Damn near
he's-
had a heart attack.
Yeah, Arson Judge. Yeah, it was close. The thing that killed me was Bochy was retiring.
Fair.
Should I rewind that? Because here's the thing. The thought was Bryce Harper was using the Giants to get more money and more years out of the Phillies. The thought was that Bryce Harper really not going to come to the Giants because even though he's very powerful, left-handed hitter, no self-respecting power hitter, which he is, wants to play at Oracle Park because of the prevailing winds in the summer and because of Triples Alley. It's a hard place to hit as a left-hander, unless your name is Barry Lamar Bonds. If you're a dead pull right-handed power hitter, you're fine with Oracle Park. But left-handed hitter, even the most powerful ones, people are like, you don't want to play there. Bryce Harper actually wanted to, but the reason he didn't with the Giants, because
Arson Judge. Yeah, it was close. The thing that killed me was Bochy was retiring.
Because Bruce Bochy announced his retirement on February 18th of 2019. So on this date, back in 2019, Bryce Harper signed that 13-year in excess of $300 million contract with the Phillies. But if Bruce Bochy had not announced his retirement, Bryce Harper would have signed with the Giants and presumably would still be with the Giants. He wasn't concerned about McCovey Cove. He wasn't concerned about how hard it is for left-handers to hit. He wasn't concerned about Triples Alley. His concern was they got rid of, well, I shouldn't say they got rid of Bruce Bochy, but Bruce Bochy retired from the Giants, and that killed any chances of Bryce Harper spurning the Phillies for the Giants. If I'm a Giants fan and I'm hearing that for the first time, my head is banging off the table in front of me.
Yeah, that boy can hit.
The boy could hit, and he looked real good in the Giants uniform.
Did he play for Dusty?
Who?
Bryce Harper.
Oh, when he was in Washington?
Did he play for Dusty then? Was Dusty there?
I don't know. That's or was it?
They got to the World Series, right? Did they get to the World Series with Dusty?
And they no. I don't remember. I know
like they got there one year with Dusty. That could be completely crazy. I feel like they got there one year though.
They won the World Series a few years ago. I mean, it might have been about 8 to 10 years ago, but Dusty wasn't the manager when they won the World Series. So, and I don't remember if Dusty was the manager when Harper was there or if it was Matt Williams.
Oh, Dusty Baker did get the Nationals to the World Series in 2019.
But that was the year they won it, right?
No, that was the year the Nationals got to the World Series in 2019. They didn't win. They lost.
Who did they lose to?
No, they won the World Series.
Yeah, but Dusty wasn't the manager. He's only won one World Series, and that was with the Astros in 2022.
Oh, no, okay, no. So Dusty Baker did indeed manage the Washington Nationals to the World Series in 2019. He was the Nationals manager that season when Washington won the National League pennant, reached the 2019 World Series where they faced the Houston Astros.
That's right, because that was Harper's first year with the Phillies. And then next year, well, that same year, they go to the World Series. But who did they lose to in 2019?
They say that they won it in 2019. That can't be right. Didn't Dusty win the World Series with Houston?
With the Astros, yeah. But that I know for a fact.
Yeah, that was his first. That was his first World Series win.
That was his first World Series, yeah.
Yeah, that was the first one he won.
Right.
So this can't be right.
But that's the internet steering you wrong. I don't know.
No, yeah, it can't be right. I'm gonna say, are you sure?
Jason saying Marcus reading the AI results. David Martinez. That's who the manager was for the Nationals when they won in when they won in 2019. There you go. There you go. There we go. We can always count on the chat. We can always count on the quality hangers to drop the important information.
Okay. All right. So
there you go. There you go.
Dave Martinez. That's right.
There you go. And yes, he did play for Matt Williams.
He did. He
Bryce Harper. But he could have been a Giant. Bruce Bochy not announced his retirement from the Giants. He eventually went back to baseball only a few short weeks before Bryce Harper signed his contract with the Philadelphia Phillies on this date, all the way back in 2014. So there you go. On this date, Claudette Colvin, 9 months before Rosa Parks, she was then 15 years old, was arrested for not giving up her seat on the bus. Wilt scored 100 points on this date in 1962. CDs and CD players were first introduced by Sony to North American consumers on this date in 1983. Spinal Tap premiered in theaters in 1984, and Bryce Harper could have been a Giant had Dusty Baker stuck around, but he signed his contract with the Phillies on this date in 2014. All right. We always end the show with the best thing I've seen today. And something I've seen on the internet. I enjoyed it because it's the best thing that I've seen today. I want to show it to you in hopes that it will be the best thing that you will have seen today. Marcus, I have a somewhat personal question for you. When's the last time you bought a mattress, my man?
Ooh.
Been a while, right? Been a while?
Yeah.
Okay, been a while. So last mattress you bought, you probably went to a mattress store, right?
Well, I didn't. I went to a place. My last 2 or 3 matches I've gotten through this delivery place.
Okay, all right.
They deliver these very, very inexpensive mattresses.
Good.
And these matches are amazing. And you open up the box and that thing just pops
okay.
out.
So that's the thing. So if you haven't bought a mattress in a long time, don't nobody go to the mattress firm no more. Okay, nobody go to Sleep Train no more. That's as dead as Napoleon. People now get mattresses like we get most things in life. People can now get mattresses delivered to the crib, and they don't come flat. The mattresses come in boxes, and you have to take the mattress out the box, and you have to unfurl the mattress. Well, the best thing I've seen today is the compilation of people unfurling the mattress and getting their asses kicked by the unfurled mattress. I present to you the best thing I've seen today. Roughly 60 seconds of people getting beat up by mattresses they have to unfurl. Enjoy. Oh, not the kids. Bam! Gotcha. Oh.
He got swallowed.
Oh my God!
Slow build. Bam! Oh,
that was funny.
People getting their asses kicked by the mattresses they ordered through the mail. That's the best thing I've seen today.
That's awesome, dude. I love that shit. People need to know, like, what did you think was going to happen? This thing has been in a cylindrical box, a rectangular box, for at least a few weeks.
It's spring loaded,
and you don't think that's going to happen to you? Like, what? This is crazy. Crazy.
Oh. Wait a minute. I just want to point out. Let me move this banner here. It's always funnier when kids get hurt, as long as they're not seriously hurt. But I just want to point out here. Let me move this banner. This little girl here is going to take the brunt of this mattress being unfurled. I just want you to notice, she already has a broken left arm.
Oh, I didn't even notice that.
Her mother is, I really hope somebody's calling Child Protective Services on this lady, because clearly she does not have this little girl's well-being in mind. Now that I've said that, let's watch the mattress do its thing. Boom!
You got two of them.
Wait a minute. Let's stop that one. Hang on. Let's go back to that one. That's a good one. Okay. Keep an eye on the lady. This mattress delivers a clean right hook. Clean.
Go.
Bam! It peeled her cap back.
He had to know that was going to happen.
Oh, man. Yeah, it's worth a second viewing. This is a good one because it hits him right in the baby maker. Pa! So, more kid. So there you go. If you're purchasing a mattress and it is being delivered to you all wrapped up, I don't even know what the fix is for that problem. I don't know how you avoid getting beat up by the mattress as you're unfurling it.
I said be smarter.
I mean, that that seems as perilous as trying to snip the wires on the bomb. Like you hit the wrong wire, it's going to be a problem. I don't even know what the fix is. So there you go. Mattresses beating up people. That is the best thing I've seen today. So there you go. Enjoy. Remember all that positive glowing talk about the Warriors playing hard and keeping the Clippers at bay in the first half?
Yeah.
What did the Warriors have? What was it? A 56-42 lead at the half. That lead is it's gone. It no longer exists.
I wasn't even worried. I wasn't even worried that they were going to. I was not worried that they were going to win that game.
No Steph. No chance of winning this game. About 5 minutes and change left. 102-89. The Clippers on top of the Warriors. Still time, but the Clippers have righted the ship. And the Warriors' 56-42 halftime lead has been basically erased from the proceedings. So the Warriors and the Clippers are going to be fighting for one of those two play-in spots as the Warriors sit 8th in the West, 2.5 games ahead of the Clippers. So it's going to be an interesting month for the Warriors.
They'll continue to fight, but like at some point, all this, I mean, everything evens out, and they will eventually fall to the 10th space, get that play-in spot, and get back out.
There you go. And so for the Warriors this week, the Clippers, and then they will head to Houston and OKC for two tough games against two really good teams. And then they got the Utah Jazz coming up, which
so they'll get one win.
They'll get one win. They will get one
for the next 5 games.
There you go. All right, everybody, we're going to go ahead and get on up out of here. But as we do before we finish up, thanks to our presenting sponsor, the fine folks at Hot Monk Taverns, 3 locations to choose from, Sonoma, Sebastopol, and in Nevada. Go and check them out. To the quality hangers in the chat, thank you very much for your participation. We hope you guys enjoyed the show. We love it when you mix it up amongst yourselves, and we also love when you provide the information we need when we can't find it in a pinch. We will schedule this thing and get back at you on Thursday. In the meantime, as we mentioned, have yourselves a fantastic evening. And as always, be good and be good at it. We will see you. Bye.